Okay, today we're talking a little bit more about strength and how you can maintain a bit of strength in home without having huge numbers of weights in a gym and so on available. This is a quick use of 3 or 4 different maneuvers to maintain overall body strength to some degree. Obviously a strength training program involves taking yourself beyond your comfortable limits. You have to go up to a point of 80% plus of your normal ability in order to change the muscle's architecture in order to develop and grow muscle. So this is much more around maintenance, and the idea I would suggest is that you try to aim for 5 to 10 repeats of each of these exercises in order to get the optimum change in the muscle without damaging it. If you are struggling on those last 1 or 2 reps, you're definitely in the zone where you are trying to change the architecture, and that's great. Okay, so we're going to start off with some lower body stuff as last time round and work our way up through the body. In terms of facilities, what I've got is a couple of chairs, and you'll see in a minute a rucksack with some magazines and a couple of decent size books to use later on. Okay, so let's get started with the first of those, which is a chair exercise, and it's very simply a squat. Now you'll have come in and out of a chair a million times in the last few weeks, but how have you done that? Have you launched yourself across at an angle and utilised the whole of your body, or have you done it as a strength training exercise? One of the ways in which you can turn this into a strength training exercise, apart from adding extra weight of course, is to focus on what's happening with the quads and the glutes. So if I stand myself up nice and straight in my back and use my quads to push myself up out of the chair, I get much more focus onto the quad and the glute in the process of doing it. Okay, so that's obviously fairly simple. So what we now need to do is up the ante a little bit and add some strength to that. And simply you can do that with a rucksack, maybe a few magazines, and pop those into the back of the rucksack. And immediately you've got a well-distributed weight that you can then take into the next stage of the exercise. So now that you're going up and down with a weight on your back, things are going to be that much tougher. Obviously you can add more and more and more to that in order to up the ante. In order to up the ante further, you can make that a single leg exercise. So keeping one foot on the ground, just lowering yourself down with one leg at a time, and coming back up again, emphasising that leg will increase the power, strength and coordination around that lower limb area. The squats themselves can then become more complicated as you get lower. So coming down behind the back of a chair and pushing back up again unassisted. Down behind the back of the chair and back up again. Again, the bigger the weight on the back of you, the more resistance you're going to encounter, and so 5 or so of those in order to really challenge yourself. Coming back to the chairs now, we can use 2 chairs on this occasion to create an extra training resistance with the triceps. And what I like to do here is try to organise the chairs to approximately shoulder width apart before putting my feet out in front and creating a tricep dip in that kind of manner. Okay, you can turn your hands at different angles, whatever suits. You can hang on to the edges and so on. Again, just making sure that those chairs are not going to fall over in any sense. That can then become press-ups, of course. You can go the opposite direction. I'd hang your thumb over the side just in order to give you some stability, and dropping straight down into a press-up with the elbows coming out to the side is one variation. Turning the hands, maybe coming slightly further forward, so the elbows run beside you, is another variation that's a wee bit tougher and seems to be better for orientation in the shoulder girdle. So repeats up to 5 of those. Those press-ups can then obviously be taken to the floor, where variations in press-ups seem to be very good. So the standard press-up being straight up and down with the elbows coming out to the side. Variations in that, what I call the C-line press-up, where you're coming right out in front of yourself. An extended press-up, where your hands are well above your front, of your head is very good from a core strength requirement. And if you're feeling strong, the diamond, so holding your hands in that kind of shape, press up to the chest, is again a tougher version of the same thing. Okay, hope those are of some use to you. The idea is to do 5 of each if you can. You should be puffing and panting like me by the end. Have fun.